All right, happy Friday to all our YouTube subs. Now here we're going to get to the Bitcoin TA in just a sec here. Before we do, just a reminder as we sit here now with Bitcoin's over 55,000, alts on a tear, just all sorts of opportunity across all assets here. Just a little reminder. I don't do this often, but just a reminder here that you can join us. There's really three ways you can join us, right? You can join us for free. I'm just over here at TradeDevils.com and I'm clicking plans and prices. You can join us for free. That will get you some access. That'll get you limited access to the Discord. You'll get a couple of channels, and you will get all of the. If you look through here, this is always kind of a nice guide here. The things that you're going to get access to, early release of public videos. So members got this video, about 12:30. Any crypto deep dives that we do here, that's all available to you. But here, it's the introductory course. It's the white belt course, right? That's kind of the, the attraction to this is you're going to get access to the white belt course, which is, I've said before, those of you that have been subs for a long time, right, is not an easy belt to pass, right? It's not a pushover. Here, come on in. We're just going to make this easy for you. We have a lot of people fail it, right? That don't study, right? If you don't put some effort into it, you're going to fail. So it's not designed to be easy. It's designed to challenge you. But just a reminder here that's one option for it. And often we have members that will kind of stair step. They'll start out with the free, and they'll kind of get a vibe for the Discord, make sure everything's legit, and I understand that. And then there's a stair step. So then you can go into, if you're not ready for the belt system, you can go into social. That's $49 a month, right? We're damn near giving it away. That gets you access to everything but the belt system, right? So all the trading rooms, all the early releases that we do, all of the member poll videos. So rather than me picking them now, we let members pick what we're doing. As you've heard me say before, the only requirement we have is that you post your chart as well, so we can kind of gauge your level of progress with regards to your technical analysis skills. So that's all of that comes to you right at that $49 a month, right? You want to get serious about it, get into the belt system, get access to everything. Well, now you're in the educational program, but it's a pretty big leap to go up to educational, so you got to be serious about what you're doing here. But this is, Jesus, we're giving it away there. I think, right? Shit, what do I know? Just a reminder here. Now look at all the things that you get access to, right? That's a lot for $49 a month, right? Just keep that in mind. All right, guys, there you go. And then, of course, if you're always educational, if you want to get serious about it, right, that will absolutely challenge you. All right, there you go, guys. All right, with that said, a little promo. Let's move over to the Bitcoin TA. All right, all you devils out there, how's it going? Here we are, Friday the 19th. So, of course, we'll look at Bitcoin here. Yeah, let's see. So, coming up on 12:45 for me here in Austin. Sure has been a bizarre week for us down here in Texas. So I've been very fortunate. We lost power just for one day. And have had it back. We don't have a lot of water pressure at the moment, but we're very happy to have power. So that said, here what has made this little experience down here in Texas much more manageable is just watching Bitcoin just continue to push to new highs. I mean, we're at new highs as I'm recording this. Really is remarkable. So. As we dig in here, as I'm prone to do, I like to try and offer up the simplified version. For those of you, whether members, I'm going to assume that part of the attraction here is digging into the puzzle that really is a tricky one here in this push up here, which would appear to be the fifth wave. For those of you that don't give a shit about all the little nuance of the Elliott count. Well, so that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to make this easy for you. Okay, 1, we got a 2, we got a 3. Pretty good chance that's our 4. We're heading towards a 5 up here. Now, at some point, something is likely to happen, right? We don't know what it is. That's going to cause the market to correct, right? That would be what you'd anticipate. I realize, Bitcoin is a unique asset, right? Certainly in our lifetimes, this is unique. But I'd be careful about things like, well, Bitcoin will be different, right? Or that's the old, it'll be different this time, right? It's never different this time, never. Now that said, there's nothing on the horizon, right? So what would most likely cause some sort of a pullback, right? I think we'd all probably agree that that's likely to come from some sort of government intervention. Now, they can't stop it, right? We're way too far out of the gate, right? Can't stop it, but they can fuck with it, right? They can try to regulate it and make, don't be surprised if you see some of that. Certainly there'll be some FUD around that, right? As we've talked about repeatedly. The majority of the mined Bitcoin is being consumed by whales, and I don't mean individual whales. That's Grayscale, PayPal, Cash App, right? All of the players that you would know. Right now, we have other institutions getting involved, right? So where are they going to get their Bitcoin, right? If they can't buy what's being mined, they're going to try and get yours. So that's what will create the FUD. There'll be just enough to cause people that are a little nervous or feel like, oh, holy shit, man, I've got 20x my return. I bought it at 3,000. I'm up here at 70,000. Boy, maybe I ought to take a little profit, right? That's what'll cause it. And it may not be anything that we can anticipate. I mean, we can sit here logically and say, well, what's likely to cause this? Well, we can say, government intervention. That's a logical assumption to make of something that could pause the rally. How about we say it that way? But, then it can often be a black swan event like what we're experiencing here in Texas, right? I mean, who would have thought we'd have freezing temperatures for 7, 8, right now, what are we going to be, 6, 7 days in a row? Right, so that's certainly impacting the local economy here, certainly impacting energy costs. So it's these black swan events that nobody sees coming that often will create the retracement, right? So for those of you that are not in, or looking to get more long, perhaps we say it that way, there'll be something, right? Again, you may not know it, right? It's often what cannot be foreseen. Okay, so all of that said here, I've now added a third channel here just out of necessity here as we're breaking outside of this. So put it in green is our money channel for the final leg here. Now, do we know it's the final leg? No, of course not, right? It's certainly possible this could be recounted and we'd have to, shit, you can probably just look at it and say, okay, well, maybe we'll end up doing this, right? Maybe if this is, maybe if this is going to keep going, right, we'll end up relabeling it this way. Right now we're well over 100 and still going. That wouldn't surprise me. Right? I mean, you can almost see the count. Certainly, you can count it just loosely here and see how that could play. I mean, shit. We could. I mean, the retracements are so shallow. I mean, people talking about 1 million of Bitcoin. I mean, we could end up with this, right? We could end up 1.2 here. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but if it keeps going, you're going to run out of options. Right? At some point, again, where's our deepest retracement? Here. Where are we putting the one? Well, right now, this is what makes sense, right? Just looking at it, right? Wave structure, typical fib relationships that you'd anticipate. This is what makes sense, but nothing says that we have to stop here. Shit, we could be at 100 grand. In a month, right? I mean, nothing else moves like Bitcoin. So right now is even technically you think, oh shit, man, it looks like it's getting a little top heavy. You get to 52, 50, 52, getting a little top heavy. There's some TA that would imply that perhaps we're cyclically getting up towards the top. There's some GAN tools that would suggest that we're near a top up here, but in the Elliott count would suggest that we're in the fifth of the fifth. All of that TA, it's a guide, right? They're indicators, right? They're indicating what's likely, but you can't. I mean, we trade on them because that's all we got, right? I mean, that's what you have to work with if you're trying to really, muscle into the chart. The easier way to take it is just, buy X amount every week in, week out, right? Now that's the simple approach. But if you want to be a technician and you're looking for where are those probability zones where I can get what I believe, right? That's all you get is what you believe is an edge in the market. Right? It's got to be something, right? It's a little TA, it's a confluence, something that makes you feel like, oh, I've got better than 50-50 odds here. Because otherwise, flip a coin. Heads I buy, tails I sell. Good money management that has been well proven makes money. Heads I buy, tails I sell with good money management. Right? What does that tell you about where to put your emphasis? Right? It's not the TA, right? The TA is the fun part. The discipline is the money management. That's the not so fun part. Right? That's that little temptation to move your stop down. Just, oh shit, I'm going to give it a little more room. Right? We all know that temptation, right? But it's the moving the stop, right? That's the mistake, right? And we know the market has an insane ability to punish mistakes, right? If you get away with it, right, it's almost worse, right? You've heard me say this before. If you get away with it, right, you move the stop down a little bit, you get away with it, it's almost a worse outcome because then you'll be tempted to do it the next time and the next time. And there'll be the time you don't get away with it. All of a sudden, you're in trouble. You blew up your account, right? We've all done it. And if you haven't done it, likely you're gonna run into that at some point in your trading career. It's very common, right? It just takes time to be convinced that what matters is the money management. That's what matters, right? Again, flip a coin. Heads I buy, tails I sell. Right? Test it out yourself, right? I mean, there's shit you can find. God, you probably find videos on YouTube of people demonstrating that. It's very well documented. All right, so with all that said, shit, I'm already 8 minutes in. Okay, so looking at this, right? Again, I'm just big picture. Right, we're in the upper quadrant here of these three channels here, so no telling how high we go here. Now we can use a couple of wave relationships, right? Typical tools here to try and identify a probability zone for a target, right? We want to have a target. So again, nothing sample. Now nothing complicated. Keeping it simple. Now note we are in log scale here. So here we're going up. Oh shit! Here, I moved it. We're going up for our 1. We're going to work off of our proposed 4 low. Here, I'll get my 1 back where I had it. Okay, so you can see why I've got these up here. Okay, 100% the length of the 1 projected from the 4. Okay, very common, right? If we're gonna keep going, well, the first thing we got to get through is the 618, the length of the 1. Well, we're breaching that now. What's the next target? 76,457 here on Bitstamp. All right, that's the 100% emphasis in log scale. Now, can we get here, right? I mean, you can look at that and say, would that have the right look, right? This is always a good exercise, right? Would this have the right look? If I do it this way, can we get up to that height, right? Am I gonna have the right look? Oh shit, it's a little hard to do it in log scale. Let's see if I can move it in log scale. You kind of get it, right? It because of the compression down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, that looks like right out of a Elliott Wave for Dummies, right? This is what they're supposed to look like, right? Elliott called it, does it have the right look, right? That's why you see me do this all the time, because I pull it out for myself and go, does that have the right look? I'll be damned. It definitely does. So if this is our 4, right, we're trying to decipher and get into, is there opportunity here? I mean, so far, right, we had a little pullback. It's been straight up, right? Our pullback was here to 31. We're at 54. It's crazy, right? It's crazy good if you're long, right? I mean, it's just amazing to watch, right? I mean, your personal wealth just increase, right? It's fun to watch. All right, so okay, let's dig into the puzzle now. So I'm going to do this a couple of ways. First, here, let's do this. Let's get these. I'm going to pull these channels off here because when I go out of log scale, as we're going to do here. All right, it will be kind of wonky. It'll be all over the place. Okay, so because we're going to focus now in here on just this section and higher, right? We don't need to be in log scale because now we're not looking at that range, right? Now we're looking at a range from 29. Well, shit, that's damn near from 29 to 54. But we don't need to be in log scale to analyze that. From 3,000 to 54, yeah, you want to be in log scale. All right, so let's go. Let's go to the 2 hour here, and I'm going to take it out of log scale. All right, this is tricky, right? So the Elliottians, again, you either love it or you hate it, right? So if you're an Elliottian, right, you're challenged by this because this is an interesting count because, as is so often the case with Bitcoin, you can count this a couple of different ways. So, well, maybe an hourly is better, right? So here's the structure that's creating question mark. So if you look at this. And we looked at this yesterday or last week, right? So there's a clean impulse right here. Now, you can deal with that a couple of different ways. I mean, it's very hard not to call this a completed impulse. Can you fudge it a little bit? Yeah, you could, right? I mean, you could. When we look at the other count, we'll look at a different way that you could count this. I mean, I suppose you could put the 3, the 4 here, and the 5 here, and then we'll look at an alternate count here. You can kind of see it, but just at eyes glance here, just looking at it, 1, 2, 3, 4. God, it just looks textbook. So, process of elimination. This is how we ended up here last week, right? And this is one of 2 counts. I can't tell you which one it's going to be until we finish, right? So you're making a guesstimate here. Fortunately, they don't affect us terribly in terms of the next opportunity. So looking at this, right, as I said last week, I think at this point we have to call this a truncation here. So I'm going with W, X, Y, X, Z. Now, not every Elliottian is going to agree with that. All right, some are going 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, there's different ways you could do it here, but I think that's such a clear 3. I think we finish with an ABC down here, a little truncation. We got a spike down here. So I'm calling this the 4 right here, right? This pivot. Here's the low pivot, but here's the one that fails to get there. Now, because we come off with a ripping impulse, that's why I think this is more likely the low here for our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, extension in the 5th, ripper, ABC down for the 2. Now, fuck, right? It's not going to be this, right? We're not going to put the 3 here, right? So what's left, right? There's only a 1, 2 is left, right? We got a clear ABC into this, so 1, 2. Well, so now you're looking at that going, oh, but the time that didn't quite. Well, you got to check it, right? You got to check the length. Okay, 1. If that's a 2, okay. Well, I'm long enough. Well, then you look here and go, oh, is this the 3? Is this the 3? Tricky, right? So, but looking at that. You gotta kind of say, all right, well, I can get an impulse. Here's the 4, 3, 4, 5, right? So I can get that in here. So I can go 1, 2, 3, ABC into the 4. What do I got here? Well, it looks like I'm going 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my 3. So I got a 1, 2, 3, ABC, right? Simplify. Fuck, that could be a WXY. Doesn't matter. Here's the correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3. Well, so now you look at that and you think, okay, well, if that's my 3, would that make sense relative to the wave relationships? Well, here's my high probability zone, right? I mean, I looked at that and I thought maybe it's here, right? But I think because we can complete this, right, I'm good there. Now, when we look at the alternate here, right, we'll come back here to revisit this because right now, as we look at that, this is the high probability zone here for this 1, 2 to top right here. Right now, there's an alternate. We'll put it there. But right now, we're going to look at both of them here because certainly this is valid. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get my 5. Now, what's the problem with this? Well, that's a mighty skinny 4. Note, right? Vegas wave. Right? As I try to remind you, pay attention. Right? It's easy to go eye blind to it. Oh, fucking lines are in the way. You don't connect mentally with what just happened there. Perfect tag, right? Right in the lips. Right? We're above it, bullish. Below it, bearish. Simple conceptually, right? Don't go eye blind to it. So, all right, 1, 2. Would that make sense from the 2? All right, so I'm just shy of the 23, right? Here's my high probability zone. Okay, well, it's a little pause here at the Vegas wave. Well, shit, I rip right off of that. So that's got me thinking right already. Fuck, that looks technical right here. Let's just check that. Might be too deep. Nope. Of course, right? So, fucking Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin loves the golden zone. So here's our swing up, down, golden zone, right? So little stutter at the first target. We're going for third. So makes you look at that and think, okay, well, what do I have here? Well, right off the bat, this, you can almost kind of back yourself into this, right? So here, okay, shit that does not happen randomly. right there. So immediately I can look at that and I go, you can kind of back into this thing. Go, okay, well that sure looks like an ABC right there, right? And since we don't did I get that right? It's you right there. Okay, ABC. Now working backwards, right? Since I don't overlap that with that to the tick, well, right? Okay, this doesn't take a rocket scientist. Okay, 3, 4, extension in the 5. Now this is it's a little bit of a fucker, right? You got, kind of chopped there, but you can make it work, right? Remember, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, 3 doesn't have to be the longest, just can't be the shortest. So you can kind of, back into. Should I just make that bigger so you can see it? Ah, fuck, come here. All right, 3, 4. Am I topping up here? Well, if I'm topping, what am I completing here? All right, this is where color coding this will help because it's easy to lose track. Okay, 1, 2, here, let's draw it, right? So often, right, this is just a good, all right, 1, 2, where's my 3, right? That's a skinny 4, right, going up, right? I'm looking for that 5. Does it have the right look? Well, 2 to 4, okay. Kind of flat, kind of sharp. Maybe, right? Okay, all right, I can live with this. Now, what I don't want is to be topping right here. Because you recall when we looked at in log scale, we had targets up at 75 grand, right? Up here, right? This is, when we come back to log scale, I don't want this to be done here. If it was done there, and we were gonna top up here in this area, let's look at it here. We're getting a little top heavy here in the RSI. Doesn't mean it can't stay there, but it's just like heads up, right? We tend to see. Now you can just kind of look here and go, all right, well, it's not as strong here as it was here. Now this can push well beyond that. You'll end up, beyond this peak, right? So you before you lean too heavily into that, you'd want to see something start to come down. Now you recognize, oh, I got a top based on divergence. Not yet. Right now, it's just maybe, right? This would get your eye. Buyer's clearly in control. Okay, maybe, right? So, but you're not trying to pick the top here. The idea is not to be going, oh, where's my opportunity to short it? Right? I don't, there's traders that just can't resist it, right? Trying to pick the turn. It's just stupid trading, right? There's just no reason to ever try and pick a top, right? It looks good on your Twitter feed. Oh, look what I did. I nailed the top, right? You want to wait for that, right? You always wait for the failure, right? That is it now? Okay, right? That's why you get, whether you're calling it a second entry or price action guy, or you're calling it, an A, what's the beat, right? It's always a push to try and get to the high that fails and rolls over. That's why you end up with that pattern of lower, lower, high, lower, low, right? This is the trade, right? So, because remember, I've shown this 1,000 times, guys, right? Look at the stop, okay? Where's your target? If you're gonna get an ABC down here that goes down to some of this structure, let's just right? Let's put a trade together, right? If you're dying to short it, look at the risk reward, right? That's if you insist on being one of the guys. In fact, I'm gonna get that short. Right, that's the kind of risk. Where do we start, right? Remember, money management, right? Heads I buy, tails I sell. With good money management, right? You flip a coin, tails I sell. Okay, well, I'm going to have to wait for a lower high. All right, let's get off that here. How am I doing? 20 minutes. Okay, well, there's no sign of anything slowing that down. That's just, we're hitting new highs. It's just pushing higher as I'm recording that, 55,549. Right, amazing, right? So if we're going to complete something here and we're going up to 76, 80, 100, right? You're up into, if we go back to the 8 hour where we're in log scale, nothing says we have to stop at the 100, the length of the 1, right? We could go to the 1618, the length of the 1. So what are we hoping for? If you're not in, or if you're in and looking to get more in, what are you looking for? Right? You want this to be a 1 of a third, right? Now we're talking big action, right? So we just put this together, right? So at some point here, we're going to get a top, right? No telling where it comes. That's the next thing you're looking for to get us up here into this 76, 70 here. Maybe we'll get a third here, right? That put us up at 84, right? There's absolutely no reason not to anticipate that. right? But what would help us dial in here is getting a deeper retracement. We want a deeper retracement, right? We've been waiting for a deeper retracement the whole way up, right? It's just not giving it to us, right? This was waiting for something deeper, didn't quite get it. All along here, this is the only technical retracement we had. We had a golden zone here, right, that set up that perfect golden corner, right, that we looked at actually 2 weeks ago. This is just boom, right? I mean, very, very shallow retracements, right? Buyers fully in control. Rip roaring impulse. It's what they look like, shallow retracements. Buyers fully in control. Well, so you look here and you go, oh, okay, well, all right, you just told me, well, you just buy it every week. Well, this is, if you're buying up here, this is, you're just rolling the dice, right? So you better have good money management here because, it's flying higher. Well, where's your stop? Okay, so right off the bat, you'd have to use a pivot down here, right? Personally, I don't buy them like that. I wait for retracements. So this has been, this was the last decent trade because we had a nice golden zone here. We got a golden corner pocket, right? But I banked it, right? I didn't stay long. Well, there's trading Bitcoin, and then there's Bitcoin that you get this here. There's Bitcoin that you swing trade or short-term trade, and then there's holding Bitcoin. So I consider anything that you're doing here where you're taking a pop on something like that, that's just your trading Bitcoin, right? But then you got your, something you've got in a cold storage wallet, it's offline, you're just holding it, right? That's your oxygen supply, your lifeline, right? Your hedge against what they're about to create $2 trillion out of thin air, right? That's why you hold your Bitcoin. So, 23. Okay, so this is an interesting count, very, very much a contender. I'd suggest, as I often do, that you would split and have two alternate counts, right? They're very close, right? And it's all going to be relative to this section, right? This is where the counts diverge, right here, right? What do you do with that, right? We just looked at it. Sure looks like a clean impulse. So if it's 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, then this seems a reasonable count, right? Again, Elliotticians might differ here, but I think we'd be it would be pretty close, right, as we continue to push here higher. The other thing to look at here would be just you could do a regression channel off of the low, right? I like a regression channel. It's standard deviation, two standard deviations on either side, right? So pushing up towards this, right? When we get outside of it, that's a pretty good push. Right, often you'll find it back retraced to the center line or to the lower parallel here. It's almost like an ATR, right? So as that pushes up higher, we actually want to hope that there's a top here and we get a retracement, right? That's for the opportunity to retrace and get long. Okay, I think I covered that enough here. So let me pull that off. Right, what a beautiful little channel. Again, this could be relabeled as well if we keep going. Let me just oh shit, I gotta find it. Yeah, this is it here. So okay, so this is the alternate. Let me hide this, and this is here. This is just putting just a traditional Elliott channel on it. We're connecting the 2s and 4 here, but we'll hide this as well. Okay, so this is where this is, again, if you like the puzzle, right, this is tricky in here. If you don't, right, you should probably bail now, right? So, because I'm going to go into the detail. All right, so let's look at this. All right, so I think you even have to go down to a 30-minute to work this out. Tricky count, right? So we come back to this. Oh shit! Here, I got to go back a little bit. Let's go to hourly. Okay, so here would be the alternate. All right, so we talked about this section here being our little problem spot, right? What do we do with this, right? It sure does look like here we got a complete impulse here, right? 1, 2, right? So you can see it, right? So here's the alternate count. You'd have 3, 4, 5, right? So process of elimination, it's got to be 1, 2, right? Well, let's put this back now, all right? So here would be the alternate. 1, 2. Right, you gotta dig. This is where it gets a little tricky. You gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, you can do it. Oh, here, that'll work. It's barely there. it's a little bit of a push, right? It's a little bit of an Elliott shuffle to get that to play, right? Because you're trying to dig it out here, so you barely get a 1, 1, 2, and then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very skinny. Right now I'm on an hourly, so down on a 5-minute you could dig it out a little bit better. But it's an alternate to consider because and we just looked at this a second ago, because of this pivot right here relative to the proposed 1, 2. So right as we just looked at this, if this is the 1 and this is the 2, right? What I do right here. Right into the high probability zone for the 3. So makes me go, oh, if I want to put the 3 there, can I back into that? Is there a way to get there? Well, that's how you got to do it, right? You got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete an impulse here because of that wave relationship. Okay, does that work? Well, it's a little bit of an Elliott shuffle there, a little bit, right? But so I would have those two counts separated, right? One on either side. Now it gets a little bit. If this is the 3, 4, this actually gets a little bit more complicated. So let's just zoom in here. Okay, well if this is ABC into my 4, okay, well where's the deepest retracement, right? This is our technical pivot, that golden zone. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so what have I got? I got a 1, ABC for my 2. Now this is a bit of a cluster here. You really it's hard to go. It's hard to put the 1 here, right, and not go, oh fuck, what, really? So this would be an alternate to think 1, 2, and then you got to dig another 1, 2 out here. Now I believe, right, what's iffy here is that on some exchanges this broke, right? So this is right here on Bitstamp. I checked on Finex. I think on Coinbase, this broke, right? So this broke by a tick or two off of this pivot. Now you could, this is where if you don't like Elliott Wave, you're going to say, oh, that's bullshit, man. But you could do this, right? You could put the 1 here, right, to avoid the overlap. I think it's Coinbase. So you could put the 1 here. Come here. Oh, fuck. Oh, I think I locked it. Did I? Yeah, I did. All right, so you could put the 1 here and work this as an A, B, C into the 2. And then this count still plays. Right here on, here I am on Bitstamp, it holds. Right, so you can work it either way, right? So it's a little bit, I know, right? Elliott's not perfect, right? There's no reason to anticipate that it's going to be perfect. We get it as perfect as we can within rules and guidelines, right? So, and then a 1 tick overlap here, you go, oh, fuck, man. If it doesn't overlap on 7 out of 8 exchanges, right? Is 2 ticks on Coinbase, do I want to change my account? Well, I sure would put a little dot on that just to remind you if the count breaks down, that's likely where it's going to come from. But this alternate here, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So this is. So part of what I'm doing here is I'm trying to create a scenario that can get me up to 75 grand. The other one, I'm going to have to go 1, 2, and so we looked at this one. I'm going to have to get, this has got to be the 1. I'm going to need a 2. Well, if it keeps going, I want something that will get me there, will get me up to those upper levels, 75, 77, 75. Because with this count here, I'm still 1, 2. I'm still seeking the 3rd here. Right, all of this is still yet to come. Right, so this would be 4, 5 over here. Now, does this have the right look? Well, it could be we're pushing a little bit here. We're pushing it. If this is 1, 2, I'm seeking the 3, 4, 5. Okay, the 1's going to be the small one. 1, 2, 3, 4, assuming this is an extension, looking for a 5 up here of 3 relative to this 1, 2. So, right, that's going to be well beyond the 1, 6, 1, 8. What did we just hit? 2, 6, 1, 8. Right, for the 3 relative to this 1. Now, if it keeps going, right, nothing says it has to stop at the 2, 6, 1, 8, but that's a very typical for an extension here relative to the 1, 2. That's commonly where you'll see them pause, right? Again, nothing says it must stop there and pivot and retrace, but you can anticipate that's not a reasonable location to try and put this roadmap together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still trying to complete the 1, from here, right? So let's see if I know this gets. It's easier when you're doing it yourself than you trying to follow me here. But hopefully the goal is you can kind of create these same habits yourself and say, okay, well, how can I get there, right? If that's going to be my 3 and this is going to be my 4, we're going up for a 5, right? How can I get up to some of those upper levels? Well, let's think about the 1, 2. All right, if this is the 2, I may not be spot on there, but I'm going to be close. 1, 2. Get you right on there. All right, close enough. All right. 1, 2. Right, what did we just say, right? If we're going to get an extension here, right, we're going to get up to the 2618, right? 2618, retrace into the 4, pushing higher for the 5. What are we completing up here? Could we complete up here, 66, relative to this 3, 4? Let's pull back, see what that looks like. And we'll take this one off. Here's the C, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and of course this could be the 1. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get a big rip in the 5. Wouldn't surprise, right? In Bitcoin that we get that big rip. Now, if it's not going to go that far, well then we're back to what we're hoping for, is that this is the 1 of the 5th, not the 5th. Right? We don't want this to be the 1 of the 5th. We want this whole thing to complete as the 1 of the 5th, right? That's bull porn right there, right? That's what we're hoping for. Would that make sense? Well, if we pull back a little bit, think about, put it back into log scale, let's auto it, right? How big is this 3? Right? If you think about the length of the 3 projected from the 4, then you can start to see, well, oh, okay, sure. Right? Given the massive 3 we had, sure, I could see an extension in the 5th going well beyond 100% the length of the 1. How about 100% the length of the 3? This is just out of curiosity. Am I in log here? Let's get it in log. No, it's just, we'll tee it, we'll finish up here. All right, if this is my 2, 3, that's my 4. 140. Right, so now you kind of see why you're hoping this is 1, 2. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Going higher than 100. Right, going up. Right, Tim Draper. Right, says 250 by 2022. Shit, at this rate, we could be at 200 before the end of the year if this is 1, 2. Right? You just kind of lay out the map. Right? Is that possible? Right? Beyond 100% the length of the 1, going 1272. Pardon me, the length of the 3. It really would not have that crazy of a look. I gotta get back in log here. It really would not. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 100 the length of the 3. All right, so there you go. Oh shit! Now I'm just rambling, right? But what I hope to do here with this, guys, is have you kind of go through the same process. Okay, if we're going higher, how can I lay out a roadmap that's not distorting it dramatically? That would make sense. So you're not doing something like this, 3, 4, and then you got to have a crazy 5th or a monster extension here. Or a monster 3, where you're going, okay, does that have the right look? We're going to do something like that? Well, maybe, but you want to try and stick with what are the more common ranges, right? And then the variable would be in and out of log. All right, are you looking at the big picture? Or are you looking at the micro swings down here? It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out, but hopefully that's just kind of the thought process of how you would go about trying to lay out a roadmap, right? And then always anticipating at some point the retracement is likely to come, and that's really our next opportunity, right? The next 50 golden zone that Bitcoin offers up on a larger degree, right? That's the bull porn we're hoping for. And of course, keep in mind nothing says that it's a 2, right? And we haven't topped, right? We just don't know, but that's right. You never know, right? But what matters here? Money management, right? Heads I buy, tails I sell. All right, guys, there you go. That should give you plenty to chew on. Yeah, I think that'll wrap it up here. Okay, I kind of went long there, guys. Okay, hope you got something out of that, and we'll catch up with you guys. Members, we'll see you on Monday for the member poll, and we'll look at all your charts. Okay, until then.